Hard to hear with the echo, but I think there was a reference to the when I was invited by Yoav Golan himself to give a conversation, I guess, to the IDF. This was a group of fans of mine. At the time, there were pictures circulating where, I guess, soldiers were taking pictures in dresses, and the question had to do with communicating yourself to the Western world. And I said, taking pictures like this is obviously really stupid. If you want to spin this into me saying if you're going to commit war crimes, do it off camera, I mean, you can do that. That's fine. It's boring to me. This is inconsistent with every belief I've ever held in my life. But you're free to strawman me in whatever way makes you feel better about yourself. When it comes to the analysis of the region and whether or not it's a genocide, personally, I think this is a question for the International Court of Justice and maybe historians. I think that people that want to call it a genocide are looking too hard to weigh into some word or term or some international definition that is somehow going to bring peace to the region. And I think it does a disservice to the people there. And I think that it tries to short-circuit the argument of what does a final resolution look like when we're just screaming apartheid, ethnic cleansing, and genocide. I think that the push in the West oftentimes that people look for when they talk about peace, when they talk about no more killing, is a very Western-centric view that people involved in conflict don't always necessarily share. When it comes to Ukraine, the calls for peace are usually from the Russian side saying, well, we need peace so that we can take 25% of this country. Personally, I believe that calls for just peace in Israel-Palestine is something that Netanyahu supports, because if you read this 20-point plan that's been floated, it gives him essentially every single thing that he wants in the region. I think that once the bombs stop falling and once Netanyahu works on his reform of education in the Gaza Strip, whatever that means, when he works on his reform of the Palestinian Authority into being less radical, whatever that means, and then when he looks at all of the other things that he's been granted by the United States in order to build whatever two separate societies that he wants, I think that what's happened is even as we approach an end to this conflict, Netanyahu's gotten everything he wants, and this claim of genocide hasn't supported the Palestinian people there in any way, size, shape, or form.